friends. It's Tracey and Boris, and Violet is outside taking care of her early morning business, and Freddie and Jerry, Tracey and crew. You know what I'm saying? It is early Tuesday morning, and I'm just having my coffee. And I want to start a new book today. I started a new one last night. It's Something on Devil's Rock by Tremblay. I only got like 30 pages in before I fell asleep, so I'm going to try my hand at doing a little reading vlog. Like, over the next couple of days, I'll just check in. I did, I think, 2 reading vlogs way back, but one was for Kresley Cole's Monroe book, because I'm a huge fan. And I think I did one when I read Hex, which, whatever. So I just thought, I have a hard time sitting down to do individual videos. I want to try to get back in the swing, but I'm much better or consistent with vlogs. Like, I have another YouTube channel that I do daily vlogs, so I'm just going to take snippets from the next couple of days that I am reading. I'm going to read this one. I've never read Ammo Jones. I think I have the whole series, I think. I don't know what this series is called. And I don't really know what it's about. 136 Scars. I did read the back a couple days ago. I think 136 Scars is exactly what it stands for. She's a broken young woman, and she trigger warnings. With anything that I talk about, trigger warnings, but she has that many scars on her body, if you know what I'm saying. And I think her name's Meadow. Is that what it says? Yeah, Meadow. And the man's name in this is named Beast. I don't know what his real name is. Haven't even cracked a page. And he's an extremely broken character too. It's about 2 broken characters coming together. I'll fill you in more when I read at least a little bit of it. Just want to show Maze with this cool hat. You gonna lose that one there, bud?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Turn sideways. Oh, Canada. There they go. Well, good morning, friends. I haven't checked back in a while. I'm not sure if I'm doing a new beginning on this. If so, it's Tracey and Crew from Tea Time with Tracey and Crew. I changed my name from Tracey and Violet because I have Boris and Freddie and Jerry and Violet. So, anyways, I started this video originally to read a Ammo Jones book, but I posted a video yesterday, and I think it was Angie, I gotta check, that commented she would hope that I would read Take Me With You by Nina G. Jones. So I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I should start that. So I totally didn't even, I bypassed Ammo Jones, and I do plan on reading that hopefully this month. But I picked up this book. It's like 10:04 in the morning now. I usually get up around 5 a.m., 5:30 at the latest. Today I had a rough morning and got up around 6. But anyways, I started this after the kids left for school, and I'm on page, I got a little ways into it. I didn't even read the back of it. I'm on page 57. I think I read the back of it when I first got it. I always go with a pain. I set the rules for myself. I don't take unnecessary risks. Oh, this is fuzzy. That's how I feel able to invade, capture these years. Well, I won't keep reading it because it's whatever, but basically, this is, well, not basically, I'm just the beginning of it. This is the author of the book Debt, and I do have that, and I haven't read it yet. But this is about almost like a serial stalker rapist kind of thing. I don't know if I would say that. It's still at the beginning kind of thing, but there's two characters in this, Sam and Vesper. Vesper is the girl. Sam is the boy. Well, not boy, but this is happening in 1978. I love this cover, by the way. I love this cover. It's hard to say. It's like a sea. It's a woman under the water just floating down. Anyways, it starts off with Sam, and he is obviously a sick individual. He has a craving to fit in like a normal life. It hasn't got into what his back life was, but he is trying to invade other people's homes, but he plans and stalks for a long time before he invades. Breaks into houses and ties up the husband and wife and gives them a choice to either violently hurt one of them or sexually assault the other one, the woman, Anyways, that's only happened once before, but he has a fascination with this young woman. She's a nursing student, and she was at a grocery store one time with her little brother who has cerebral palsy, and he just took a shine to her. Didn't approach or anything like that, but it really tickled his fancy in the sense, that sounds too light to say, but piqued his interest, so he got obsessed with her. So any house that he breaks into doesn't live up to what he imagines Vesper would be like. So 57 pages in, it's already gone through one house. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of spoilers or anything like that, but one night he was watching Vesper's house, and Vesper is a young woman, like I said, a nursing student, and she has a mother and a stepfather who are always on vacation. She's kind of left to take care of her little brother, who she loves dearly, and she does have a boyfriend the night that he comes over because he doesn't like her staying at the house by herself. He's a doctor student, like a med student or something like that. He ends up spending the night with her because he doesn't like her being there by herself. But Sam is outside stalking and sees this and triggers him to invade unprepared. And things go a little sideways, kind of. His usual MO, what he's doing, was working at first, but then the little brother wakes up, and where the title "Take Me With You" comes into play, because she's like, just take me with you, leave my brother and my partner alone and take me with you. And that's where we're at now. It's kind of, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, it's really good in the sense of the writing and the imagination, and I can see everything that's happening, but I'm just like, this guy is a sick individual, really sick. Now, she is with this boyfriend, the med student, for 3 years, I think, and he's almost the perfect guy, but she's feeling like, I don't know, she feels like she's left behind in the sense he was her first everything, and she loves him, but she has these little dark fantasies. And I don't say that lightly, like she's not on the prowl to look for anything different, but that's where it starts. So it's kind of just at the very beginning, and I'm so glad that you mentioned this, Angie. Really, I really love this cover, like I said, and this is supposed to be one of those, I don't know, even at the beginning of this book, it says it's not a romance book, but it's like kind of a romance book, or toxic relationship book that doesn't have a happy ending. So I'm just stating that right now. So anyways, yes, there's this. The kids are off at school. I got the fire togged up. Um, yeah, the furnace is about to turn on. I can hear it. Violet and Boris are here snoozing, and I'm going to keep reading. If I can I like to try to challenge myself and read at least 100 pages a day. This is I think this is around 300 pages, maybe more. But, there's that blog. I don't want to read anything on it's 364 pages. Okay, well, it's a little more, but 364. This will probably take me 2 or 3 days to read, depending on what's going on in my life, but it's only 10:04 in the morning, and I've already read 57 pages, so we'll see what I can get done today. And, yeah, it's kind of a heartbreaking, bleak kind of story right now, but I am enjoying it. I do love myself a good bleak story, even though that sounds crazy, but it's true. So, anyways, I'll be back and fill you in. Alright guys, it's about 7 o'clock. I'm rotating laundry for the last time tonight. I have a couple towels to hang up. My husband just went and got a bunch of firewood, which is awesome. And we stocked up the fire for tonight because it's going to be a cold one. Whew. Well, good morning, friends. It is the next day. I haven't checked in a while, but I only got to 100 pages in this. Like, I stopped after that because I wanted to tackle, this is that book I was telling you about. I started the night before, only got like 30 pages in. The Disappearance at Devil's Rock by Tremblay. Anyways, I finished this book, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't like overly scary, but it wasn't, can't say it was a coming of age story, not at all really, but it involved some kids and one of them going missing, and the mother of the missing boy and the sister of the missing boy would sometimes see his ghost, or what they thought was a shadow of him, in the house. And the story is about trying to find out what happened to little Tommy. And I say little, he was like, I'm thinking a young teenager sort of thing. But the description was good, and it was a neat story just to follow along. And this is only the second book of Paul Tremblay that I read. The first one was Cabin at the End of the World, which I really liked. Um, um, yeah, I like this one almost as much. Not that I like that other story, what the story was. It was more interesting to me. This was interesting, but it's just like, yeah, wasn't questioning the end of the world or not. You know what I mean? But I felt bad for, there's Boris right there. There's Violet. Yeah, I have another book of his, Survivor Song, or something like that. I was going to say Swan Song, but no, that's not it. I already read that book. That's not by him. I think it's Survivor Song, and I will probably read sometime this year, but no, this kept me entertained enough that I read the whole thing. Like, it's not overly large, and it wasn't hard to read. There was a lot of dialogue in it, and Tommy's friends, they were all at like a park, like a wooded park, and it went into some of their backstory of what they used to do at that park, and the imaginations of children and whatnot. Yeah. And just one night something happened and he never came home. And the rest of the story is trying to find out what happened and the potential haunting and, things like that. So anyways, I read that one. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I have it in my collection. I don't know if I'd ever read it again, maybe. I wanted to read this because I just thought, where I live in Nova Scotia, there's ocean. I don't know if it's ocean. To me, when I think of a rocky cliff, it's ocean, not a lake. And there's a little island off the coast of this rocky shore. So I'm thinking that it's ocean. Where I live, there's lots of woods, and there's lots of oceans, and there's lots of rocky cliffs. So I was like, oh, it can bring me to, in my imagination, to where it is around here. But anyways, I finished that one, and now what I plan to do is get a good chunk of this done today. I'm enjoying it. It's really quite disturbing and dark. I feel like there's Stockholm syndrome going on in this. It's like the blurb in the beginning of this book says that it's not a romance, but it's under that genre of dark romance, I believe. It just doesn't have a happy ending. And this man, Sam, he goes by Night in this, like the dark of night, in Vesper, and he ends up taking her when she says, take me, because she was trying to save her brother and partner. He locks her down in his basement and does horrible things to her. Starves her, kind of. Does feed her, but she has to do certain things to get a little bit of food and water. And it's been over 4 weeks, and the media regarding her and the disappearance and the search parties is kind of dwindling. He will occasionally show her a newspaper. He doesn't say anything. He wears like a ski mask, so she has never seen his face, and he doesn't really talk much. But yeah, I'm gonna get more into this. I still have quite a bit left, and then if I'm gonna try to, if I need a little break from that one, I will start this one that I originally planned on doing. I thought this one, well, for that one, it's basically like a story between two people. At the beginning, there's a couple other people, but then the rest of the story, I think, will mainly be two characters. This, I don't know. I'm thinking it's more of a bigger story in regards to the amount of people and storyline. Not to say that Take Me With You is a bad story. It's not, but I don't know. This might be more action-packed, maybe. I might be completely wrong about that. But anyways, I need to go wake my kids up. I got up easier today. I got up around 5:30. Took my fluffy bunnies for a walk. It's arse-biting cold outside though. Boy, oh boy, it's cold. But we're back. I had my coffee, and now I got to go wake my children up to get ready for school. So hip hip hooray. I just wanted to check in and tell you about the book I finished last night. So there we go. All right, guys, we're outside. Ooh, it's fuzzy. Focus. There. It's cold. She's a cold one today. Yeah, I bet he has the heater on in that bus. There's Misha waving. Excellent. All right, I love ya. Have a good day at school. There's Violet Boris. Mally was going to go, but she fell going down the steps and twisted her ankle. Like, didn't fall all the way down, but just in the hospital with Mally. I'm going to outpatients. I just had to push her in here on a wheelchair. Hopefully we're not here for hours. We'll see. Alright, it wants Dave's hot sauce, which is delicious, but I didn't know that you could get it here. Just noticed. Hello, sweetheart. There's a dog right there. Hi, baby. Looks like an old one, but beautiful as ever. Sitting there good as gold. Alright, friends, I have not checked back in a while. It's 4:57. I have had a busy day, but I did make some progress in that book. Boris, stop. I'm on page 276 or something, so I read 176 pages so far. This morning, one of my girls fell and hurt her foot. We brought her to the hospital. We had to wait for hours because healthcare in Nova Scotia sucks. Yeah, 276. And I brought my book with me, so that's how I got a nice chunk of time to read. I forget, well, last night I finished at 100 pages. I will finish this today for sure. I have that little bit left. There's some things going on. Stockholm Syndrome by the dozens, honestly. It's frustrating, but it's really well written. I'm just like, how can she? How can she? How can she forget? Well, she doesn't forget because she knows what's going on, but for some reason she's in captivity with this stalker, Knight, aka Sam Knight. And he does horrible, horrible things to her. And sexual assault. Just lack of, human decency. Slowly he starts to add some things in. Instead of keeping her in a basement, he goes and builds a little shed out in the back. He lives on a farm and puts her in there. There's a bed, which she's been so deprived of everything for so long. She thought she was living in the lap of luxury, but it's a little tiny shed with an outhouse attached to it, and she thinks she's living the life of Riley. Honestly,
it's really good. Like, it's really good in the sense I'm really engaged in the story. Things have happened. There's some big triggers in regards to pregnancy, miscarriage, attempted abortion, things like that. I need you to give you a heads up about that. Yeah, that was a bit disturbing, but the whole situation is disturbing. Like, just, I haven't read a book with Stockholm Syndrome so well written before, honestly. So I just wanted to check in with you. I will finish this today, and I'll give you my final thoughts. I haven't touched the Amo Jones book yet, though, but I'll let you know how this goes.
Alright guys, I'm sitting here by the fire. I just finished that book. It's 6:43. Kids had supper. I sat here by the fire after I put some wood in and finished it up. So yeah, I said I didn't think this had a happy ending. It kind of has a happy ending, but it shouldn't be a happy ending. You know what I'm saying? It's a messed up ending. Boris, Violet, stop. Anyways, yeah, so I forget what I last told you. She was taken by Sam. And he lives on a farm, and he knew how to break animals, so he was trying to break her in the regards to, like, starving her, breaking her, and she would only get food if she would do certain things. And, anyways, she had been captured for almost a year. So as time went on, they grew some sort of sick relationship, and, Sam's family is a prominent family in Sacramento, and his brother is the sheriff of Sacramento, I think, and his father was, but Sam had a really messed up childhood. Not making that as an excuse, but just saying that's probably why he was the way he was. And yeah, their sick relationship goes through craziness, like, I don't want to divulge, but a lot of sexual assault, non-consensual things, but then dubious consent in the sense, like, she wanted it because she got so used to it, and bad attention is better than no attention, if you know what I'm saying. So, it was sickening, really. And eventually, something happens where it's absolutely traumatic, and he goes bananas, and instead of hurting her like he really wants to, he goes and hurts something else, and that's where their relationship falls apart. It was apart to begin with, but she's so warped in the mind now that she has a chance to run, but runs to him instead, because she thinks she can't go back and she can't survive without him because it's been so long, and it's just bananas. But he's chased out of town, and he plans on killing her. Can't bring himself to do it, but leaves her, and I'll just leave it at that. So the majority of the book is when she's kidnapped, and the ordeal that went on with that, and then the last, I don't know, well, there's 3 parts, so maybe part 3 is when she's home. But nothing is quite the same. And yeah, anyways, I would recommend it if you're into dark, twisted stories. Absolute trigger warnings for this. I don't find I don't have triggers. The only thing that's kind of upsetting, it doesn't stop me from reading the books, is like when animals are tortured and stuff like that. I can still read it, but you know. But yeah, it's just messed up book. That's the first book I've read by Nina G. Jones. I don't think she has a lot of books. I don't know, but I do have her other book, Debt, and I will certainly read that sometime. And they're good size books. Like, they're not little piddly ones. This was almost 400 pages, 300 and around 70 pages or 64 pages or something like that. And yeah, so anyways, I would recommend it, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. There's a lot of assault that goes on in this, and it's very graphic. It's very on page, and it, like, just a minute. Go on up for a second, Alicia.
Um, yeah, it's very graphic and on page, and yeah, kind of disturbing, just because you get the POV from him and from her, so you're in the mind of this sick individual, but you're in her mind when she's slowly becoming sick herself, in the sense that she can't seem to break out of the bubble because she's in such isolation that, yeah, she's just a broken young woman. So anyways, I'm glad I read it. Thanks, Angie, for the recommendation. It's not a bright and sunny book, but it was certainly interesting, and I'm glad I read it for sure. I will keep this. I might reread it again, but not for a while. But I am going to go on to this one now. I'm trying to do a reading vlog from, I don't know what it was, Monday to Friday. So today is only Wednesday. I have a couple days to read this. Depending on how much I get into it tonight, I might take a break because I read quite a bit today. I'll either start it tonight or tomorrow. So anyways, I'll check back with you later. It's not even 6 o'clock in the morning. They both got a hold of that little hot dog bun. You heard squeaking. I already kicked up the carpet. Boris. She has the hot dog bun. Well, good morning, friends. It's the next day. I started this book this morning with my morning coffee, and it's 136 Scars, The Devil's Own Book 1. So it's a series, and I think I have all the books by Amo Jones. I'm only on like the chapters are short. I'm on chapter 5 and I'm on page 27. So it doesn't take long to get through chapters, which makes me read faster because I'm like, oh, I'm on another chapter. But yeah, so far I've only been reading like 20 minutes, maybe, and it has two characters, Meadow and Beast, or Agent 316 or 361, I forget. One of them. Meadow, it shows little flashbacks, like a little blurb about when she was 4. It shows when Beast was young and explain how he ended up where he ended up. Meadow, the most recent chapter I just read, she is 14 years old. She lives with her absolute monster of a father in this rundown apartment. Like, the apartment is like, the plumbing doesn't work and everything, and the landlady doesn't care, and it's for like homeless people and stuff like that. Anyways, he abuses her and has been abusing her since she was 4. Raped her when she was 12, and she's 14 in the latest chapter that I read. But it's just, it's flying by at the beginning of the book. Beast, it shows he's in like a facility, like an army military facility, which I had no idea. I went into this book blind, honestly. He was given to a military agency that's genetically modifying people, like for weaponry kind of thing. And he was dropped off there as a baby, and he's tried to escape several times. Then it jumps to when he's 14 and he's trying to escape, and he gets out, but he always gets caught. And then, most recently, he's 21, and I haven't got into that so far, but he hates this agency, and there's a blurb of how he ended up at that agency. There's a blurb of he doesn't know who his mother is, who his father is. It goes on to explain how he ended up in that agency, and it's kind of heartbreaking. But, yeah, he has all tattoos. He's pumped full of this stuff, and other people are too, and he's jacked up, like all muscly and tattooed and stuff like that. And he knows how to fight and survive and, like, everything. So, oh, excuse me, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that maybe
he actually broke out and slaughtered all the people that were holding him captive and people captive. I don't know. And is now living out freedom, but he doesn't know how to live out freedom. I don't know. Or the plan that's stated in this book, when babies are brought there, they're honed into these military people that are, modified. And eventually, when they get too old for that, they turn into teachers themselves to do the next generation. Doesn't seem like he's that, but maybe he is. I don't know. But I have to say, this is the first A.M.O. Jones book that I've read, and it's really easy to get into the story. Like, it's right from the get-go. It's not like so in your face that it's like, well, you don't get the scene and the environment in your mind. She's still actually showing you what's going on, and but it's going fast, which is cool. So I'm going to try to read at least 100 pages in this today. I don't think this is as long as the other one that I read. This is 300 pages exactly. So if I read 100 pages, that's awesome. Maybe if I read more, that's okay too, but I got stuff to do today. I got to go wake the kids up soon. I got up around 5:30, and yeah, it's Thursday, so anyways, I'll be back in a bit. I just wanted to let you know I did start it, and I'm enjoying it. And just for the little bit of time that I read, I feel like I'm getting a grasp on these characters, but it's just, yeah. Anyways, I'll be back. Yeah, I'm going to call the school and let them know. All right, we're outside. Maze, I got your snow pants I got to put in your book bag. All right, here comes Bun. Look how light it is out these days. Ooh, they got to run. They got to hustle. All right, I love you. Have a good day at school. Have fun skating. I'll call the school about being picked up, okay? Explain it to Maze. There. Ooh. Ooh, all right. See the smoke coming out of our chimney? It's burn, baby, burn. All right, friends, it's 9:58 in the morning. I'm on page 100, and there's things going... Oh, just a minute. All right, yeah, sorry. So a lot has been going on. I had no idea this book is like a MC book, motorcycle club book, kind of. I don't know if they're all like that. But Meadow, the young woman that had an abusive father that, took advantage of her. She was 14 when she was freed, liberated from him. Beast, he was in that same building. He was in that same building as her, that ratty apartment, because he had escaped. He made contact with some, I'm not explaining this well. Him and a friend escaped from that army compound where they were modified to be these weaponry, kind of soldiers. His friend had a contact from when he was young, because he was in foster care, with this lady that was in foster care with him. And she was was adopted by an MC family and grew up there. So he trusted this girl, and that's where they ended up, and so on and so on. So Beast was embraced into this family, but since just breaking out of there, he needed a place to go to just clear his mind, because there's a lot going on. And he ended up getting this ratty-tatty apartment in the same building that Meadow was in. So he heard this young girl, not knowing who she was, being assaulted and abused for a few days, wasn't 100% sure what was going on. This happens all at the very beginning, and he ends up busts in and takes care of her. Donald is his name, her father, and disappears. So she's free of her abuser, but this guy, she only just seen that one time, and he's gone forever. So fast forward till she's like 21, she ends up being she found a long lost aunt she didn't know she had, and her aunt didn't know about her, and she got kind of on the straight and narrow and taken care of. Unfortunately, her aunt passed away, so she was left the estate, so she's kind of not well off or anything, but she had the chance to go to school and get a job and all that kind of stuff. So she's actually friends with the sister of one of the MCs. It's a little web. She doesn't know who Beast is. She hasn't seen him since, because he's with a different MC club. There's a few different MC clubs and stuff. Anyways, I think it's approaching the time where she'll cross paths with him again and see him for the first time since that terrible night when she was 14. And the story is going really fast. It's not that things aren't fleshed out. They are. But there's some traumatic things or crazy things that happened, and there's not much time spent on. Like one time she divulged the abuse to her best friend, and it took years for her to divulge to her best friend where she came from and what her abuse was. And one night she does, and there's just a paragraph or so to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you, my heart aches for you," and then it's done and over with, you know what I mean? And that's fine, because it makes the story go faster, like it moves on to something else, but it's just like, I'm assuming somebody with that kind of trauma in their life, I don't know, it just wouldn't be blurted out like that, and a friend just wrapped up like in a nice little nutshell kind of thing. But I'm not enjoying this story. I am. It's just I had no idea. I really had no idea that there was motorcycle people involved in this book. But anyway, so far these two have not met each other since that one night. I'm on page 101, and I'll go from there. But yeah, there's some tension in here, just like, but again, it's not long lasting. It's not a long lasting tension. So it's like, or somebody dies, somebody that was a prominent person in this might die, and like it's not flushed out in that sense. Oh, that's terrible. Well, we're gonna have to, get revenge, but nothing else is really, at least not so far, has been done about it. So it's just kind of strange in that way. But anyways, I'll fill you in a little more when I read some more. Oh, and did I tell you? Well, it's 10:18 now. I'm just sitting here by the fire. Dishwasher's going. My husband's in the shower. I'm going to have a shower after. And there's Jerry right there. See him? Guys, it's about 3:45. Messiah should be walking through the door any second now. Here's that chicken Alfredo. I poked a knife in it. It's thawed all the way through. It seems to be warm. And the cheese on top has melted. Most of it has stayed there a little bit. Got stuck to the thing, but that's all right. So I'm going to let it sit a little bit. My husband just went to town to pick up Misha and Maze. And then they'll be home and everything will be all hunky-dory. All right, friends, I'm in town at McDonald's parking lot. I'm supposed to meet my husband here. He came in earlier to pick up the kids, and just running behind. I said, well, I can just meet you in town, because the kids would just get home and we'd have to head right back in for hockey. So he was at Superstore when I was talking to him, and he said, I'll just go over to McDonald's and get them a Happy Meal for supper. I said, that's fine. And I'll meet him here, but I'm here before he is, so he might be still at the Superstore. So I did bring my book, and I'm just going to read until they get here. All right, he's all ready to rock. Perfect.
Oh, they're all waiting. There's Maze. Ooh, there he is. Do it again. Do it again. Excellent. We're at Superstore now. I'm gonna pick up a couple things. Then we're gonna head the high heck home. It's cold. Colder than a witch's titty out here. Well, good morning, friends. It's Friday morning. It's about 5:30 in the morning. I have Boris with me. Violet's slept with one of my girls, so she's still in slumber. But I read some more of that book at the rink. I didn't read any more last evening, so I'm only on page like 133. I'm hoping I can finish that book today. And I'll be able to do some sort of a check-in. But the two did end up crossing paths at a motorcycle-like event, and she knew who he was right away, and he knew who she was right away. And yeah, kind of stunned, but he never thought he'd see her again, and vice versa. So anyways, I'll be back. Alright, friends, I'm going to try to get this fire going. I can already feel there's coals, and my friggin' ash bucket's just about full. That, so it kind of breathes. It's like netted. And I'll have the drafts open, leave the door open just a smidgen, and that'll be going in no time. 5 minutes, not even. All right, guys, school's canceled. School's canceled. I was about to go get the kids up, and oh, I should open the blinds for him. I'm about to sit down and work on this until one of the kids gets up, and then I will do breakfast and all that jazz. Of course, I'll open the blinds for you. Yeah, it was about 10 to 7, and I was about to go up and wake up the kids, and I happened to check the internet, and I'm glad I did, because I've done that several times this year, 2 or 3 times. I get the kids up, all packed, ready, out to the road waiting for the bus. Turns out school's canceled, but it's canceled today, baby, and I used my noggin to think to check the internet before I woke them up. Oh, and I had to load up the fire again because all that fire burnt up. Alright guys, I brought in a bunch of wood and I filled up the wheelbarrow again, covered it with a tarp because right now it's only like -2 or 3 out, but it's going to keep getting colder and I wanted to do it before it gets too cold that I can't stand it outside. There's like a chance of frostbite and all that stuff. And that way those guys could play outside for about 20 minutes, 15 minutes and blow off some steam. It's only 9:26 there and we got in a bunch of wood. And we should be good for today. If that burns all today, at least I got a wheelbarrow out in front of the door and I don't have to go digging in a big wood pile. Love ya! Anyways, I'm working on this book. I'm on page 175 now. I was on 133 when I started. So there's exactly 300 pages in this book. I should be able to finish it today because it's only early on. But I'm too winded now to tell you what it's about. But just filling you in on my life. So I went upstairs to just lay down a bit, and I didn't stay long. It's only 12 o'clock now, but Misha made a cabin. They're listening to classical music. Okay. Oh, open. Well, that's cool. 50 cents a cup of fruit punch. Is that a Sharpie, like a permanent marker?
No, it's a whiteboard marker.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Could I have a glass, please? I'll have to find 50 cents, or I'll go get it and I'll be right back.
Alright.
Alright, I got 50 cents. Oh, one of the quarters had a red maple leaf on it. 50 cents a glass of juice, and they fronted Mally a glass of juice, so I'll cover her tab. Boris. Okay. There's for Mally.
That doesn't matter.
And this is for me. Okay. The big fat one.
No, you're not going to get more even if you got a big cup.
That's alright. The music really adds to the ambiance. I'm going to vacuum in the dining room since Augustus is stripped naked. Cheers, you guys. Oh, Augustus. I caught you in the buff, didn't I? Well, I'm...
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Alright guys, it is 2:34. I just got done that book, 136 Scars. So yeah, let me talk about this one for a second. I really just finished it. The dishwasher's going. My husband's on his way back from the city, and it's arse-biting cold outside. So I forget where I left off talking about this. It's an MC book. It's about this young woman named Meadow and a man that was held in a facility. He eventually breaks out. He's around 21, and he ends up saving her from her very disturbingly abusive father. That was at the beginning of the book. She never sees him again until she's about 21, 22. She was 14 when he killed her father. They never thought they'd see each other again. She makes friends with a motorcycle member's daughter or sister, and eventually their paths cross because Beast, the young man, turns out he's the son of the president of one of the MC clubs. And yeah, anyways, it's an interesting story. It's a fun story. It's not overly, I mean, it depends on your definition of dark. There is some killing in this, which, yeah, that's not all light and fluffy, but it's certainly not the darkest kind of stuff I've read at all. And I enjoyed it. I have the whole series, so I'm going to read it because I bought it. I bought it all secondhand, though. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it's the best kind of story. I know she has really like a lot of different series and people rave about them. I haven't seen anybody talk about this one. Maybe this was their first one. I don't know. And the story's good. It just seemed to go super fast. Like, they'd go into explanation with some things, but not everything. And they'd skip over stuff, it seemed like. Instead of stuff that should be a big deal, it's not a big deal. And anyways, it kind of was disappointing in that way. And I hate to say that because a very prominent author, and I'm sure Amo is great at other stories. I am going to give her the rest of her series a chance. But yeah, that was like the biggest thing for me. It's just like, it was so straightforward. You know, near the end there's with the motorcycle clubs, there's like Russians, and there's like the Devil's One and Sin Soul Suckers or something, I don't know, I forget now. And just they're all intertwined, and then the army is the facility where Beast and his friend Hella escaped from. It's not actually the army, but it's government supported, but it's stealth mode, like nobody knows about it. So they're always watching their back for them because they're always on the hunt for these guys. They're elite specimens or whatever, you know. And there's a big kerfuffle near the end of this book, and I'm using this as an example. Meadow isn't supposed to go along with this, but she's like, no, I insist on going. You know, I insist on going. And then she just goes. Like, there's no argument put up about it. And it's like, what? She has no experience in tactical whatever. And I don't know. It was just so straightforward. And yeah, some people die and just, oh, I'll salute to so-and-so, and then it just moves on. So, anyways, I enjoyed it, but I'm hoping the next book in this series, it's called Hellraiser. I think it's about his friend Hella. It's bigger than this book. I'm hoping it's better. It's not bad, but it's just like, it's not as good as some MC or even gang kind of books that I've read. The cover's nice though. It's not bad, and I don't really rate my books that I read by stars. If I had to rate this one, I don't know, maybe a 3. It didn't blow my socks off at all. It seemed like a very beginner kind of motorcycle one. The dark stuff with her father was the most dark stuff to me, with the partially on page abuse that was going on with her when she was 14. That was the most dark stuff, in my opinion.
And that was just at the beginning. And then it was all, you know, serendipitous. And yeah, anyways, read that one. I would recommend it if you're into MC romances. I haven't read very many. I read the Gianna Darling one. I forget what it's called, but I read all of those. I have a couple more series, but anyways, I like the Gianna Darling one better than this first one. Like, I like that first one better than this first one, but again, I think there's 4 or 5 books in this series, and I have them all, so I plan on reading the next one, and it might blow my socks off. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, and Devil's Rock, I know I've already talked about this. It's the disappearance of the little boy Tommy and his mother and sister. There's no dad in the picture. He ended up dying years ago, ran away and died in a car crash. And Tommy and his little friends would go out near the cliffs and in the forest, the park and stuff, and one night he didn't return. He was supposed to be staying at his friend's house. His mom gets a phone call after midnight wondering if Tommy ended up going back home, and it goes on from there. This is more of a horror, thriller, mystery book. It's kind of heartbreaking because as a mother of many, I would freak out if I lost one of my children. I really would. And she isn't sure if she's going insane or not when she sees shadows and ghosts occasionally around her house. She goes a little crazy in the sense that she goes and gets indoor cameras trying to catch whatever this is and finds little notes being left around her. She can smell her son, like the scent and things. And there's a lot of dialogue in here. You hear from the other kids and how the other parents feel, and the police officers and all that stuff. I thought it was very good. I did. It's a good story, and this is the second book of Paul Tremblay's that I read, and I love the 2 endings of the 2 books that I read. Like, they leave it ambiguous for you to interpret it how you feel like it should be. It's not like a definite ending, and I love that. I love stories like that. So anyways, that one, I would recommend this one too. And Take Me With You. I think this is under dark romance, and I didn't think it had a happy ending, but by all rights, it is kind of a happy ending. But both of these characters, him especially, is a mother flippin' sick individual. That he's a serial stalker, peeping Tom, rapist, just terrorizer. And the way that he handles her and how she ends up breaking down and feels so connected with him, I don't think she can help it. She didn't come from a bad family, but kind of a neglectful mother. Like, she was never starving or anything like that. She was provided with everything she needed, but her mother was never around. There was no father. There was a stepfather who was very wealthy. So her mom was always away vacationing, and she was left home taking care of her young brother who had cerebral palsy. And she was terrified that this intruder, being Knight, was going to kill her brother and her just boyfriend that was there staying over. And her little brother got up in the night while he was raping her and seen, and he can't talk, but he was making noises, and what's his name was gonna tell him to be quiet, or I'm gonna do this and that. She's like, take me with you. And yeah, she's put through the ringer, and it's so frustrating to read. There's a lot of sexual assault in here, like rape, constant rape, and things like that. He breaks her down so much, strips her naked, she's in the cold, she's not given food and water and stuff unless she does these acts, and it's like, how, there's no way I could root for this romance at all. But it's a psychological dark romance, and dickety dark, disturbing romance. If you're into that, read it. If you're not into dark romance at all, do not read this. Don't. Nina G. Jones. It was very well written. You get the whole backstory of his childhood, and he had a horrible childhood. Horrible. Not excusing how he lives at the present day, which is in the 70s. But anyways, that. I do have her other book, Debt. I do want to read it. And yeah, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is not exactly how I thought it was going to go. Real dark, real dark. So anyways, that one. So 3 books, 991 pages, I think, this week. Not bad. I'm going to try to do another reading vlog next week. Today is Friday, so this was Monday to Friday. I'll take the weekend off, pick 3 more books or 2 books or whatever I feel like doing. No books, I don't know, maybe. And do another reading vlog. But I hope you enjoy this. It's nothing big and fancy and flashy, but this is my life. I'm a middle-aged woman with a bunch of kids running a house in rural Nova Scotia, and this is it. This is it. So, okay, guys, I'm gonna say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose, but if not, that's okay too. I still love ya. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, okay, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning. And I'll see you maybe next week. Bye. Da blink blonk.